They say the greatest monuments are built not with stone, but with secrets. And every perfect legacy, if you dig deep enough, has a perfect crime buried in its foundation. This is the story of the Rhodes fortune, a billion-dollar empire built on the most corrosive of lies, a foundation of virtue so meticulously crafted it took 4 generations and a dying breath to crack it wide open. For 80 years, the name Elias Rhodes was synonymous with redemption. His family name was the gold standard for global philanthropy, healing the wounds of poverty, war, and disease. Elias, the patriarch, was the modern saint, a man who, in his youth, had made a mistake, then spent every waking moment correcting it, a titan who had bought his way back into God's good graces and ours. His granddaughter, Ava Rhodes, knew this legacy better than anyone. It was the air she breathed, the burden she carried, the immaculate portrait she had been charged with protecting. She managed the Rhodes Foundation, overseeing the transfer of wealth that saved countless lives. She had sacrificed her personal life, her own ambitions, her very identity, to stand guard over this beautiful, immense monument of atonement. But every saint has an origin story, and the true price of Elias's redemption was about to be paid, not by him, but by the one soul he loved the most. Our story begins in the sterile quiet of a private hospice room, where the great Elias Rhodes, the redeemed architect of a flawless empire, was finally, quietly, losing his battle with time. Outside, the world mourned the impending loss of a giant. Inside, Ava held his hand, preparing to inherit the weight of his glory. Then a rattle, a desperate gasp that broke the silence of the room. Elias, who hadn't spoken more than a whisper in a week, clutched her arm, his eyes wide and terrified, not of death, but of what he was about to unleash. "Ava," he rasped, the word tasting like rust. "The foundation, the fortune, it's a lie, the whole thing, a curse. It belongs to the Aris family. I destroyed them to save myself, and you must tell the truth." The words were a gunshot. They didn't just shatter the silence. They incinerated Ava's entire understanding of her life, her family, and her sacred purpose. She was not the guardian of a legacy of redemption. She was the unwitting inheritor of a betrayal so profound it had built a moral fortress around a deep, ancient sin. She stood over the grave of her grandfather, the public still showering his coffin with flowers and praise, knowing she carried the unholy blueprint for her family's destruction, a secret that threatened to undo 80 years of carefully curated goodness. Now, the choice was hers. Embrace the lie, preserve the world-saving good of the foundation, and condemn the wronged family to oblivion, or pursue the truth, deliver vengeance, revenge, to the grave, and burn down the greatest philanthropic legacy of the century for a single, terrifying act of justice, redemption. The silent betrayal had ended. The cursed legacy had begun.